So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the inspection module of Oil Country OS. Upon purchasing the inspection module, you'll notice two new buttons on your home screen for Oil Country OS, the Inspect and Search Inspections button. So let's just get started right away and dive in. We're going to go ahead and create a new inspection. To do so, we're going to just click the Inspect button. This is going to bring up a wizard, which is going to ask us exactly what type of material we want to inspect. In this case, we're going to be doing some drill pipe, and we're going to do some 4-inch drill pipe. So I'm going to click select there. This new screen just asked me to verify that the part number is correct. And on this screen, I'm going to enter in all the pertinent information for the customer or who I'm doing the inspection, on whose behalf I'm doing the inspection, and where it's taking place. So I'm going to do it for Carlos Oil Inc. and their operator, Big Oil and Gas. And this is going to be taking place on my location. So once I have all the pertinent information here, you can fill in any of these values as well. I'm going to hit next. This brings us to the pipe properties and conditions, and here I can get a little bit more in-depth and more detailed about the type of material that I'm inspecting. So we're going to be doing some drill pipe, and let's say it has a coating. So we're going to just put some plastic coating. Once I'm done here, again, you can input as much information as you want. I'm going to click next. I'm going to say that I am the salesman, and we're going to charge Carlos Oil Inc. $34 per joint. Custom qualifiers, if you have them configured in your system, you can input them here, but I don't, so I'm just going to go ahead and click Finish. This screen just asks me to verify all the information that I've entered so far, so the material and who and where it's taking place. I'm going to hit Confirm. Now when I hit this Confirm button, it's going to do two things. It's going to create a new job for this material and the inspection, and it's going to assign that to a brand new work order. So instead of having to create a work order yourself and assign the job to it and all this stuff, it just does it all for you in one step. So I'm going to click Confirm. And it's going to think for a sec, and then it'll bring us to the inspection screen. All right, so here we are in the inspection screen. I'm going to give you a quick tour. At the top, you'll have your regular menu buttons, save, print, and various other things that you can do. Then you have a summary of pretty much exactly what we entered in the wizard, the material, the job number that we created, and any specifications that we have in here. Again, you can edit these and add in any comments. If you do, just be sure to click Save. This blank area right now is where all our inspection results are going to be populated. As you can see, we have a series of columns. Now these can be tailored and customized and renamed according to your needs, essentially. And they're based on the category, so we can have a different template for tubing, for casing, for drill collars, and drill pipe. So you can have them separate. And to change that, all you need to do is use this drop down. Okay, at the bottom we have our input area. This holds all our abbreviation buttons for damages, final classes, color bands, and our manual input. This screen was designed for with touchscreen in mind, so if you do have a tablet, everything's touchscreen enabled. All right, so we're going to do 5 joints. We're going to do a 5-joint inspection. So to fill in 5 joints, all I'm going to do is press 5 here and press autofill joints. It's going to ask me to confirm this, and I'm going to say yes. Now we see that it populates 5 joints into my grid view. I'm just going to save that right quick. And then we're going to go ahead and start inputting some inspection values. Okay, so to start inputting these values, I can either navigate to the cell I want to start with my mouse, but I'm going to use the on-screen arrow keys. So let's just place it over here and let's start. I'm going to put in some serial numbers. I'm going to use drill pipe 001, drill pipe 002. And as you can see, I'm just moving down each joint individually as I enter in the appropriate measurement, in this case the serial number. Now the serial number is how the some of the reports that I'm going to show you work, so just make a note of that. Now when I get to the bottom of my my set, what I can do is, instead of coming up here and clicking it or using the arrow keys, I can use the Move Next button here. Now this is going to just jump me to the next column, so let's go ahead and do that. And I can start entering my wall util measurement. Now this is calculated based off of the nominal wall, so I'm going to enter in a value here, my measurement, and then it's going to give me the percentage of the remaining body wall based on the nominal wall. So you can use the system to kind of train it. You can train the system to kind of behave a certain way based on your needs. So let's get started with some measurements. And as you can see, it puts in the correct value, or the correct percentage remaining. So let's do 0.870, 0.930, or 0.308, excuse me, and a 0.281. Okay, and again, oh, that's an incorrect value, sorry, it's 0.287. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so we're just going to click Move Next, and this brings us to our next type of input here, and that is the checkboxes. And basically this is just a true or false box to tell us whether or not this damage is present on this joint or not. You can check them by clicking on them, or you can use the bad button to check them and the OK button to leave them blank. So for example, if I wanted to say that none of these had OD wear, I'm just going to click OK through the entire column, click Move Next, and I'm on to the next joint. So let's actually change one of these joints to fail, so 0.261. Okay, and we're going to make most of these okay except for this one. We're going to mark that one low wall. Okay, and I'm not going to put anything else under this section. These blank columns, these blank cells, will take pretty much any input that you have, or what we recommend is using these abbreviation buttons. Now these abbreviation buttons stand for common industry standard terms for damages. For example, reface, damage seal, and pretty much anything else. You can find out what these stand for by hovering your mouse over them, or hovering your pointer, excuse me. So I'm going to mark a couple of these needing reface in the field, and the rest are going to be okay. I'm just going to move next. Oh, excuse me, I did that in the wrong one. So I'm going to correct that, move next, and mark a couple of refaces. There we go. Right now my pin outer diameter is usually measured in fractions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the on-screen keypad to enter in 4 and 7/8. So I'm going to do 4 space 7/8, and as you can see, the slash actually populates that character onto the entry field, and when I press enter, it's placed in that. So we've also included a copy and paste functionality for values that are oftentimes repeated across 100 joints or more. So all I have to do is highlight 4 and 7/8, then copy, and I'll move down to the next row and paste it all the way down. So pretty simple there. I'm going to move next to my pington space. Again, these characters over here will just populate that character into the entry. So I'm going to do 8 over, which is a good measurement. I'm going to place that there, and again, I'm just going to copy and paste it all the way down. Now you don't need to include the plus or minus or anything. You can do it however you're used to. The system is adaptable that way. Moving next, I'm going to do a pin hardband needed on a couple of these, just so we have some data. I'm going to use the OK for this one and bad button to mark them as pin hardband needed. I'm not going to put any damages under pin tool joint, and then my pin ID is going to be 2 and I think 9/16 for this. Okay, And then I'm going to copy and paste it all the way down. Alright, so moving next to my box condition, I'm going to put a short on that one. We're going to do a swelled and a couple of refaces. How about that? There we go. Alright, moving next to my box OD. Again, this is a fraction, so I'm going to put 4 7/8. Enter that and copy and paste. This guy is going to be 10 plus, 10 over, and again copy and paste. So it's pretty quick if you need to repeat if a lot of these values are going to be repeated several times. So moving next, I'm going to mark one of these bad. Comment allows you to place any sort of comment that you want for this joint. If you notice anything extraneous that you can't express using a checkbox or one of our damage abbreviations, you can do so here. For now, I'm just going to leave it blank. And the repair. Okay, this just lets you mark whether or not a joint is going to be repairable in the end. This changes from customer to customer. Some people will only repair, class 2 pipe, or some will go into class 3 pipe. So I'm just going to leave all these blank since I don't know those variables yet. Moving next, I'm going to assign a final class. Most of these are actually going to be class 1 premium. This one is class 2 because it has a low wall, and then the rest are just going to be class 1. And actually, I'll mark these repairable. Okay. Moving next, I'm going to assign them a color. Final color. This is white, yellow, and you can see I'm just using the buttons on screen. And these last two are white. So there we go. I've inputted a full inspection for these 5 joints. As always with the system, anytime you input some data, it's always a good practice to click Save. Okay, so once we have that saved, we can go ahead and take a look at some of the reports and the work order. So first of all, I'm going to just complete the inspection. This is going to checkpoint the status to complete, just so we can keep track of it. It's going to keep it open, but it's just going to change the checkpoint for us, and that's going to look a little bit better on the report. Now, as with everything else in the system, every other printable report, to access them, we're going to go to the print button at the top left and click on the little arrow to the right of that. That's going to give you a list of everything you can print from here. Towards the bottom, we're going to have the inspection report. This is probably what's going to be the most commonly printed report for the inspection. Okay. And I'm just going to bring this up a little bit bigger. Now, up at the top, we're going to have our work order information. So we haven't taken a look at that work order just yet, so I'm going to skip over it for now. Below that, we have the pipe information. This is the material that we're inspecting. It gives it your customer the details of the string that you're inspecting. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have our inspection summary. Now, this gives you a summary of a concise summary and tally or count of all the damages and reasons for downgrading. So we see we have 4 premium joints and 1 class 2 joint. This class 2 joint is here because it had a low wall reading. So here under the reason for downgrading, we can see it was low wall. And we didn't have any class 3 or 4, thankfully. Now the next page is going to be the in-depth or detailed inspection results. This is a full inspection sheet, right? You guys are probably very familiar with it. And it appears exactly like your inspectors populated them. For example, if you mark a checkbox, it's going to put an X on it, otherwise leave it blank, and then the abbreviations and measurements are just going to show exactly how they are in your inspection screen. And as usual, all of our reports can be saved to Excel, PDF, or Word using the icon up here at the top. So I'm going to close this. We're going to take a look at the inspection comparison and joint history report. Now, if you remember, I put in these serial numbers here, DP001 through 5, and actually I had done previous inspections on these joints, so this is probably the 3rd inspection that these joints have gone through. So let's go ahead and see what's changed. If I print the comparison report, it's going to give me a breakdown of my current inspection, the one I just performed. Here we see DP0001, and the last inspection that it went through. And then the difference column gives you a change, or what changed between those two, those two inspections. This is a very helpful tool to see how a joint has degraded over time, and could allow you to hopefully, prevent downhole failure. So this is going to bring a lot of value to you and your customers. Closing this, I can go and show you the inspection history report. Now this is again by joint and gives you the inspection results by joint for every inspection that joint has gone through. So here we have the last 3 inspections for DP001, and actually every inspection for DP001. So you can see we've done 3, we're tracking 3, and the values of each one of those inspections. Again, this is a helpful tool for analyzing how a joint has degraded and worn over time. Finally, we're going to take a look at the work order. So if you remember, I said when you click the inspect button and enter in all that information, it creates a work order, it creates this inspection job, and it creates the work order. So to open it, you simply come to the top, click Open Work Order, and here we are. Now here we can put in any information that we need. Let's say our customer contact is Roger. We can put an AFE if we're billing it to a well. Let's say we're going to ship it right back out to the well. So we can put any information we want. Down here in the details section, we see that my 5 joints are in the quantity, and if you remember, I was charging them $34 a joint. We're going to make this taxable, and I'm going to charge them for mileage. So let's say my crew had to travel 50 miles. I can just go ahead and type it in and assign it a, let's say $10 per mile. And I'm going to say print, just to make sure it shows up, and save. So you guys don't have to, create master parts for this. You can just type it in, along with any inspections that you have. Up here, we'll see the totals for what they're being charged for. Now, when the inspection is complete and your work is done, you can go ahead and have the company man sign for it digitally. To do so, we're going to do the checkout button at the top. This brings up this screen where they can use a touchpad or your mouse to sign for the amount, the total amount. So I'm going to put my hideous signature right here, and I'm going to email it to myself. Okay, I'm going to click accept. As you can see, that changed it to status of invoice, so we know that we're due payment for this. Okay, so once we're done, we've received payment and we're no longer dealing with this inspection, we can go ahead and hit complete. Now this is also going to complete the job for us. So it's going to take it out of our active inventory, which is one of the important parts of the inspection module. It ties both your inspections, your digital inspections, with your inventory management. Especially useful if you're doing inspections in your facility. You can keep track of that inventory as it's received and shipped out alongside the inspection data. So I'm going to make a note of job 5154. I'm going to close both of these out. Okay, so let's say we need to go find those inspection results again. A great advantage of having a database with Oil Country OS is that your data is always there, always accessible, and you don't have to dig through a stack of papers should someone require those results again. So we're going to search for pipe, and we're going to search for job 5154. Now you can use any of these filters to check for past inspections, but since I know the job tally, I'm just going to search for it. And here it is. Now I could open it up and do all this other stuff to get to the information, but I can simply use the print button to get the inspection report. And there we go. Exactly as it was, backdated and everything, your inspection results. If I double click on it, I can see that it created a job just like anything else in Oil Country OS, just as if I had received a truck to store these 5 joints. You'll notice a new button if you purchase the inspection module. Will show up here on the right hand side. It's called Inspect. It's going to tell me that this is a completed tally, so that that I'm not going to be able to change any of the results once I get in there. So I'm going to verify that. And here we are back at the inspection screen. So the history will always remain there for you and your customers. And if you want to give them remote access, a client remote access, then they can log in and see their past inspections, right? They won't be able to see anyone else's, but they, instead of having to email you or call you to request something, they can come into the system as a global reader and find their own inspections and print them out. So that's another great advantage of the system. And that's the basics of using the inspection module. If you have any other questions, please email them to support@archondata.com or look them up on the support site at support.archondata.com.